Future's now, old man.
What it do, bugaboo? This is Future First Podcast, where we are helping you win today with a future first mindset. I'm your co-host JMac, here with my co-host Jose. What up, dude?
What's up, JMac? I'm good, man. How you been?
Good, man. Merry Christmas. Belated. How was it?
It was good, man. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays to everybody out there. It was good, man. It was. We're in here in California. We're getting something not very used to during Christmas time. Some weather. It's been raining kind of nonstop for pretty much the last 3 days. So it's a little different, but nothing too crazy. Just special, kind of just hanging out with the family. Nice quiet time, and doing the thing.
Yeah, man. You're talking about that weather. It was a wild of like 4 in the morning. I just wake up and I feel like my house is about to blow away. It's just it was crazy windy, crazy rainy. But yeah, I was grateful to have a home and a roof and four walls that we could kind of shelter up in. And outside of just it howling, there was nothing too bad around here. But yeah, man, like you, it was low key Christmas. Like spent it with the fam, had some time. My son got this cool. It's called a water rocket, and you like put water inside a water bottle, and then it's got like a bike pump that attaches to it, and then you pump air in it, and this thing like just takes off like 100 feet in the air. So we've been having a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, man, it's been good times. Um, I am somewhat glad it's over. Like, there's just a lot of hecticness that just goes into the holidays. But hey, man, and fantasy championship matches on the horizon, like we'll talk about here today.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think we're gonna get into it for the quick hit. We had some, Christmas football, which was pretty, not the Christmas miracle or the presents you wanted under that tree, but yeah, man, it's good. Hopefully everybody out there had a good time and happy holidays to you guys, and let's do it.
Let's do it. But first, we're on YouTube. Touchdown on that like button. Go for two on that subscribe. And we're at Future First Pod on YouTube. Go ahead and leave a comment if you're there. We love engaging with you guys. And shout out to Fox as always, who's been helping us with our graphics. You can follow her on X at bfoxworth07. Hit us up on Spotify and Apple Pods. You can follow and rate the show there. Drop a 5-star review if you so please. But other than that, we got another episode here. We're going to talk about that quick hit like you were talking about, go over those Christmas games. We're also going to talk about some Dynasty green flags here, and what Dynasty leagues are the best ones, and the signs of those ones. And then we're going to get into a little bit of rivalry here, and we'll talk about our ToeClan leagues. We have a little bit of love that's going into it. We're both in the ToeClan Dynasty Championships, but we're also facing off in the ToeClan Keeper League. So we're going to highlight that matchup and give you guys peel back the curtains there, and let you guys sit in on that for a second. But first, as always, man, a quick hit if you're ready.
Let's do it.
All right, the NFL nightmare on Christmas. All right, man. Yeah. Did you catch many of those games? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the football was on in the background. I wasn't a huge fan of that there was three games. I
Yeah,
think
that's a
just the
lot.
one Christmas like night game. I think most people have gotten most of their activities done. A lot of us, people watching have young kids. We're opening, Santa gifts if that's what you partake in, or just opening gifts with the family early in the morning. So I mean, I think a lot of people might have missed the Chris Rodriguez news. I know that I almost missed it. I literally went, championship week. I like to make just some parlay bets, just like on the players I have just, a little extra luck, touchdowns, whatever. So I went to make a bet on him for his yards or a touchdown or something, and then I couldn't find them on the Underdog app, not sponsored, but
Hopefully you took the under.
yeah, and then he wasn't there, and I was like, what the heck? So then I pulled up my phone, and he got sick, he couldn't play. That actually helped me put Bill into a lineup where he popped off. But yeah, speaking of that, man, I mean, you had 3 starting quarterbacks playing. The other 3 were backups, and not even just backups, third stringers, right? And of those, like 2 of them played awful, like Goff and Bo Nix. I hope you didn't really start them. I mean, it was a really bad time, and those games and everything kind of attached to them was just bad. Like there was a lot of fantasy, players, that were important to people, and I think you're pretty much unhappy with almost everybody except RJ Harvey maybe, and like Bill if you started him kind of on the quick like I did. But man, it was a rough way to start the championships, I feel like.
Yeah, Bo Nix, he turned out okay. I guess he put up like 20 points or something like that. I was playing against him in one of my matchups, and I was actually surprised that he put up as many points as he did. I was like, ah man, I thought that was way worse than it was, but he actually passed that touchdown to RJ Harvey, so that kind of benefited them both. And then I think he rushed one. Maybe it was that earlier in the game, or I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading it. But on the Chris Rodriguez news, man, do you think he like called in sick and his family was like, nah, man, like you can't work on Christmas, dude. Like you gotta you gotta call in, bro. Like
Yeah, it's something, man. I don't know. It was kind of wild that it happened, and also, normally with the illnesses, you don't really expect people to go out, even if, they, whatever they need to take and to get out there. But yeah, it must have been pretty rough. Oh, it could also be, there's not much to play for. I mean, for him personally, he's probably, a contract looking to be in the future plans. But yeah, it was kind of wild to see. Dak ended up okay. He threw the touchdowns. He didn't throw any of
yeah,
them to anybody relevant, which sucks. Javonte Williams, I think, could have had a monster game for a
yeah,
lot of people. Unfortunately, he went out right after the touchdown, so at least he got a touchdown. But Gibbs absolutely sold. If you survived his dud last week and we're hoping for a better, performance, the up and down, you got absolutely destroyed. Amon-Ra St. Brown was pretty mediocre. Cortland Sutton was pretty mediocre. Pickens and CD were okay, but for the caliber and for what they've done kind of all year, you're probably disappointed, right? You felt like you had maybe an ace that, a 20 plus type player, and I don't think either of them cracked even 15 because neither of them had a touchdown. So it was just kind of brutal. It felt kind of like like I said, like a nightmare on Christmas Day in terms of like your fantasy championships. The good thing is unless you played against Bill or like me against Harvey, you didn't really come out, if your opponent probably had a dud somewhere too. So, you kind of start, everybody's disappointed. At least there wasn't like one guy that scored like 30
yeah.
points, who you might have played out there. So, just not how you want to start the championship weeks. Like you want to see scoring. I mean, obviously not against you, but in general, it's good when the NFL games are good, and those were kind of all just real bad.
Yeah, man, that was weird too because Dak just missed CD on a couple of them too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
CD could have had a big game, but yeah, it was like there was close, but it just didn't connect. And yeah, Javante was a bad one too, man. I was in another a third place matchup, and it's still for money. I'm playing for money, and
Right.
I had Javante on that team, and I'm like, again, this is like the second week in a row of just like injuries, just ravishing my squad. I'm like, oh man, dude, I hate fantasy football.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of wild because we have games tomorrow. We have 2 games tomorrow, and we're getting the suck like a horrible like game again. You got 2 backup quarterbacks playing against each other with the Ravens and the Packers. It looks like Jordan Love's not playing.
Yeah,
Lamar's doubtful, but I'm pretty sure he's not playing. And then the Houston versus Chargers could turn into Houston's defense, no joke. It could turn into a really close, low-scoring game. So, and then you've had 5 games with a lot of fantasy relevant players that have just not been very good for fantasy. I hope not, because I have players across all those games. But it kind of sucks.
yeah,
It
brutal
kind of
for
puts
week 8, week 17, right, in the champs.
yeah, it puts a damper on the whole thing. But hey, it gives you also more of a pivot on Sunday after these 5 games. If you're looking like you're a big favorite, maybe you make a little bit more safer plays, or if you're looking like a big underdog, you take some swings, some Taysom Hills in your lineup type of situation. Like it definitely can alter what you're going to do on Sunday. So it also has some strategy built in.
Yeah, no, I mean, it keeps you on your toes. It keeps things lively at the very least. It's just not the kind of football you want to watch.
Yeah, I'm not as excited as seeing Snoop Huntley play. Who's the backup for Malik
Uh,
Willis?
yeah, Malik
Like that would
Willis.
be Lamar Jackson versus Jordan Love. Let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Let's roll out of this bad football talk and let's get into some ToeClan keeper talk here, man. All right, my man. I guess before we hop into the keeper league, which is the matchup we're facing off in, how's your start to the ToeClan Dynasty go?
Kind of like we were just talking about, pretty mid. I mean, I had Gibbs, who's been obviously an anchor of my championship last year and an anchor of my team this entire year, completely dud. Which actually I was playing against Goff, so at least Goff also was pretty horrible there. Shout out to Mando Manderson, who that's who I'm playing again back to back. We're running it back, but I had an okay game from Aaron Jones. He cracked 13 points. Malik Davis and Javante had 10 points. You wish it would have just all been one player. Like if the touchdown went to Malik Davis, I think I'd feel a lot better having like one player with
Mm.
16 points than two guys with 10. Like those guys are great for, like, we play with three wide receivers, three flexes. It's super flex, two running backs, the tight end. So I mean, those three flexes are hard sometimes to get guys with 10 points. So you feel okay, but in terms of like having had like 5 or 6 players play, and not having barely anybody crack 15 points, it feels kind of rough. The only saving grace is he had Jared Goff, and they only have three. He only has 3 quarterbacks. So if another one of his quarterbacks doesn't have a great game, there's a lot to be made there in terms of
Mm.
point advantage. But otherwise, man, it was kind of just meh. It could have been a lot better, if a few things went the way that I was hoping. But I mean, I'd definitely rather be the guy with 60 points compared to like 5, but it doesn't mean really much. I think it could go either way completely.
Yeah, I am. I'm also in the ToeClan 2 Dynasty League, and I'm facing off against McGrumble. And for those who don't know, this is a best ball league too. So it's, like getting a dud from Jared Goff is not as crucial as it is in a regular lineup league, right? Because he could be replaced by, if he scores, someone else on the bench scores higher than him. So I did face Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So Goff will most likely get replaced. He has 2 other quarterbacks, Stafford, and I'm blanking on the other guy, but he's got another guy going there too, and they're probably going to get plugged in there. And then on my end, I had RJ Harvey, which was nice. That was pretty clutch. I think I had David Montgomery, who got 5 points, nothing. He'll get replaced, but he's kind of one of my big swings. And then the other guy I had Travis Kelsey, who gave me 8 points, which is clutch because I needed something in the tight end spot because Brock Bowers just got put on IR. Side note, I don't think I'm playing any Raiders this week. It looks like they're shutting down and trying to lose. Like, I mean, they're trying to shut down Max Crosby. They just put Brock Bowers on IR. Like, that's those red flags, alarm bells going off. I'm not, not that I'm trying to play any Raiders in general, but doesn't feel great. But yeah, and then back to ToeClan. It was okay. Like, it was a decent start. He had two duds of higher point guys kind of miss, and I had 1 or 2 guys that I feel like good about, but we'll see, man. It's not over. It's not over till it's over. But crossing my fingers. I'm hoping, man. Maybe we could be bringing it back. You'd be back to back, right?
Yeah, I would be back to back. This was the championship last year. Mando's been in the championship of the ToeClan since it started 3 years in a row. So his squad is always good, and he always has those kind of deeper depth plays that random dudes that pop up scored 15 points on a week. So it's definitely not over. Like you said, it was just okay. It could have been worse, could have been better. So a lot of football left to play.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of football left to play, me and you, so ToeClan again, right? We have so many leagues together with all of our managers between them, and in the ToeClan Keeper League, which is kind of a ballers style keeper league. We do almost everything the same as far as keeper rules go. We changed up the scoring and how the scoring goes. I think it's similar positional formats, but we have a tiered PPR format. So you get different amount of points for how many yards was involved in the catch. So the longer the catch, the more points there's, and then there's also first down bonuses tossed in there as well, and some tight end premium. Not super flex, just one quarterback. And Jose is the underdog coming into the fight here. I have a pretty formidable squad. Let me pull up my roster here and who I'm going to be starting. I have Purdy going on, and then my two running backs are Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Henry was one of my keepers. Saquon Barkley I traded for in the middle of the year. I think we talked about it on the show. I sent Quinshad Judkins and a second and a fifth, and I got back Saquon Barkley and Aronde Gadsden. And mind you, like the second and the fifth are more like the fifth rounds and eighth rounds of like a regular redraft league because we have three keepers involved. And then my wide receivers I'm starting are George Pickens, who got 13 points, Puka Nakua. I have Brenton Strange plugged in the tight end slot, Drake London in the flex, and then RJ Harvey is my other flex, and then the Patriots D there. And if Drake London doesn't go, I'm probably plugging in Wandale Robinson. I don't know. He's actually been somewhat of a surprising add to my team from the waiver wire this year. Definitely the most productive waiver wire add I've had. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. I've
Who you
started him
got?
in another dynasty league, and especially with the tiered PPR kind of format and the bonuses to first downs. I mean, he's a solid wide receiver. Not solid, but he's in the top, in our scoring top 24 wide receivers, and having him as a flex in a game where maybe they're just, dinking dunking and kind of running all over the Vegas team. I think that wouldn't be the worst replacement. Obviously, you'd prefer Drake London. For me, I have Drake May. I'm still a little bit up in there if I want to play Drake May or Jacoby Brissett, just based on how many points could happen in that Cincinnati game. I've kind of just stuck with Drake May and has had Brissett on my bench pretty much through most of his games, and it hasn't been too bad except maybe one week. Apart from that, I got Kyron Williams and Josh Jacobs. I'm hoping Jacobs is fully healthy. I was able to survive his kind of down game last week. And then I got AJ Brown, JSN, and my wide receivers. So the hope there is that JSN can kind of match whatever Puka is going to kind of put up. I don't think JSN has as high of a ceiling as Puka, right? Like we saw what Puka did last week. I don't think JSN really has that in him, at least the way Darnold and that offense has been playing as of late. And then I lost Kittle, or at least in my mind, I've lost Kittle. I think even if Kittle gets ruled in, I have to make a choice, I think, before he even gets ruled in or out. And even if he gets ruled in, I just, with his health, man, and everything going on, I think I just feel safer playing somebody else. So I have Juwan Johnson in there. I got Jalen Warren in the flex and Juwan Jennings, who I guess, if Kittle goes out, I think that would be the only kind of saving grace for the team, is that Juwan Jennings probably sees a lot more volume, right? And it's a game against Chicago. The 49ers defense hasn't been anything really like that great. So I think Chicago could put up points. And, obviously the 49ers are fighting to be the number one seed in the NFC. So I think Jennings could, losing Kittle, but then having Jennings, I guess, kind of, to me, offsets a little bit, because Jennings could go for quite a big game since he'll be more necessary. And then I had the Lions DST play, who, I don't know, they gave up 23 points to Brock Brosmer or whatever the hell that guy's name is. So that was a little sad that they had 7 sacks.
Yeah.
But they didn't get a single takeaway, no fumbles, no picks. I was hoping for, at least one big DFT play. So going into it, man, I felt pretty good. I was really pissed when I saw that AJ Harvey touchdown right at the end for freaking Bo Nix. Like I was mad there. But I think this also speaks kind of to what I like about what you're saying about your teams is you've been in on RJ Harvey, and like it shows up. Like you're in 2 championship games, and he's part of those 2 championship teams. It's kind of stuff we like. We talk about. We practice what we're talking about. If we're in on a player, I've been in on JSN. I've been trying to acquire him everywhere. He's on quite a few of my teams in championships, not the ToeClan one, but in this keeper league. So, yeah, man. I mean, like looking at the matchup, why am I just a lot better at this than you? Like, can you? Like, what do you think?
I
Like,
was
what do
gonna I was gonna roll it right into some RJ Harvey hype, man, but let's talk some trash. I love it.
you?
Yeah, I
Man,
was gonna say like RJ Harvey, like over the last 5 weeks, though, has like quietly been really good ever since he started getting that workload. And we saw J.K. Dobbins kind of go out, like you know, RB7, RB8, RB11, RB2. Oh, I mean RB2 on the weeks so far doesn't say a
right.
lot, but I mean he'll end up being like a top 20 RB this week. Yeah, man. I mean, he's not exactly who I thought he was gonna be, but if he can win some champs going down the road here, yeah, you wish JSN was Puka Nakua.
Yeah, I mean, like those are kind of I highlighted that one. I think the other two that in my mind I'm looking if these players can outperform your players, I think I have a shot. Like if May can outperform Purdy and Jacobs can outperform Henry, and I'm talking about like by a decent margin, like at least somewhere around like 10 points. I think that gives me a decent chance. I guess I just want a shot going into Monday night because I think I don't have anybody playing Monday night, and I
You
have
got
Kyron, so I
Kyron.
guess
Yeah.
I'm big enough of a lead where Kyron can kind of sustain me through what Puka is going to do because I'm guessing that Puka is gonna have a pretty good game. So yeah, man. I mean, like you made some moves. You were kind of the 1 seed this whole time, and it kind of makes sense that you're here. You built a really good team. You were in that spot that we kind of talked about, where like you kind of used your draft picks. You kind of bullied, like you were able to make some moves that I wasn't because I until the very very last week I was the 7 seed.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in the playoffs until the very last week, and then I jumped up to the 4 seed because it was really condensed there. But there, in the last week, I had people, including you, trying to trade for my players because they didn't think I was going to make it. I decided to just keep it and hopefully make it, and I did. And that's what we talk about. You just need to get a shot into the playoffs. So I didn't have, our trade deadline passed. I didn't have the opportunity to sell off any of my picks for next year, which I guess in some instance kind of bodes better since I have a pretty strong team and I still have picks for next year. So next year looks a little bit better, but I just didn't have that opportunity. The only thing I did was trade for Kittle to a running back needy team, and he's obviously not here now, but he did carry me pretty much into this championship. So but yeah, man, I think it's pretty interesting. I think with as many, not as that many players have played, I think it would be pretty funny and pretty cool if we, did some sort of bet. We could do something here, like something a little interesting. I'm not sure how you feel about that sort of thing, but maybe you spot me a few points here since also you're winning. It's 31 points to 9.5 basically, or 30. So
Your
your favorite.
defense played chill, bro. Chill, not
I
nine
mean,
and a half points in. They were only supposed to get 7. So I mean,
oh
George
man.
Pickens got 13 when projected getting 20. All right, like I feel like that's a win. That's a win.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, he could have ended the week right there, to be honest, the way he's played. So yeah, I
let's
mean,
do it,
it definitely
man.
all right.
Let's
What you
do
got in mind?
let's put some pride on the line here. Like I'm thinking, maybe some team pride. Like maybe one of us comes in wearing some gear of the other person's team, and we gotta like say the other teams like what do you call that, their battle cry,
The
you know what I
tag.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. or or we could also put some ToeClan pride on this the line here, like the other one's gotta say that the other person's ToeClan dynasty is the better dynasty. Like I feel like we could get behind that. That'd be fun. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, what about like what they did with Owl, where every time they said something about their names, they had to come in and say "the Bears."
Yeah, I mean, I think we could do a little combo. I think that'd be kind of funny. Wearing some. I mean, it's kind of funny too because you're a 49ers fan and I'm a Cowboys fan, and
Yeah,
that's more of a rivalry from like back in the old days. I don't think it's much like a rivalry now, I
it's
guess, but
aged for sure.
it's aged. Yeah, I mean, since the
Kittle
Cowboys
brought it
haven't.
back though. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
you saw
Kittle
that.
hates the Cowboys. Oh yeah, he. I think every time he plays the Cowboys, he's got the Cowboys suck shirt
Oh,
underneath
that what
there.
it
But
says?
yeah,
Yeah.
it says Cowboys suck. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be interesting. We could do the dress up in the other team's attire for the loser, and I don't know. Every time you mention a player from that team or whatever, you will have to say something like that. It kind of like you said off the owl. I guess what do I know? Let's go Cowboys is the famous one from the coach
All right.
would
How
be the
about
one.
this? How about this? Every time the Cowboys get mentioned, um, I gotta do Dak Prescott's cadence.
Okay. Oh man, we might lose listeners off the people are gonna turn. No, but that's a good one. Actually, that's a good one.
Okay, and then if I win, every time we mention the Niners, you got to say "Bang Bang Niner Gang."
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm gonna do a Chris Rodriguez. I'm gonna call in sick next episode. I'm just not gonna show up. Like, sorry guys, I can't. I'm sick. Okay, yeah,
I love it.
that seems good. That's a good time. I think that'll be
All right,
funny.
that is a good time. Yeah, and we got just so everyone knows too. We got a little bit of money riding on this too. This is a money league. I think what is it, $35 buy-in, $40 buy-in?
No, it's a little bit less. I think it's like 20 or 25. I think you got 200 to first and 100 to second place.
Yeah, so
So
we got
not
$100 difference, and
yeah.
whoever takes the champ here too. This is unlike our ToeClan Dynasty League. Those ones are free, and we're just playing for pride. There are trophies involved though. So Jose's got his. Hopefully he's got it polished, and ready to go. He doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't got to mail it to anybody. It
Yeah,
just
same
stays
on
there.
shipping. I mean, it was kind of funny. The guys in the chat were like, maybe we should just buy a third place trophy since Mando and Jose are kind of just shipping it back and forth. Because I got the trophy made, so Mando came. He's in NorCal a little bit, I think, past you or before. I don't. It's
Yeah.
somewhere up there. And so he came down, and I handed it to him the first time, and then the second last year he shipped it to me. So I'm hoping I can save on some shipping costs and not have to ship it back up there. But yeah, man. I mean, it's California dominance out here in the ToeClan.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to steal the trophy from McGrumble. He has it right now, so I don't want him to go back to back with it because I got big plans for how I'm gonna terrorize the league when the trophy's in my hands. So, all right, man. Hey, and to the rest of you guys, good luck going into this weekend, and we're gonna roll out of some league specific talk here and get into some more general stuff and talk about some dynasty green flags. Unless you got anything else to mention here on these topics, man.
nah, man. Hopefully the 49ers suck except John Jennings, and hope you lose. That's all.
I hate you. Yeah, man. Actually, okay. Before we get into the dynasty green flags here, I'm gonna bring it up because I've been thinking about it. I have in another league, I put Trevor Lawrence on my roster where I have Brock Purdy, and I don't know who to start this week, right? I mean, it feels like Trevor Lawrence is playing Indianapolis, who Brock Purdy just threw 5 touchdowns on, and he's been going crazy, and they're playing for something. So it feels like he might be the play, but it feels like did we not learn our lesson when we didn't start Matt Stafford and just ride the hot hand and like the guy who's gotten you there, and like how do I take Brock Purdy out of that lineup and put Trevor Lawrence in there, man? I'm just like, but it just feels like the right move. Who would you start there? Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, championship matchup.
I think it depends if you're the favorite or not. I think Purdy has the safer floor. I think I like that. I would have to look at the over-unders and weather and some stuff because I know they're playing in Indy in the dome for Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if they're playing outside, if it's in California, or if it's in Soldier
They're
Field, but
in they're
Chicago.
in Chicago, I want to say.
Okay, so
No,
I
no,
would have
no,
to
no.
look at.
They're in Levi's. They're in Levi's.
Okay, so I think the weather's supposed to clear by then. It's not supposed to be rainy or anything. So I think it depends on what you need. Like if it's a single quarterback, and you're heads up, I think I take Purdy because I think he's more likely to have a good game and to be safe. And I think if I'm the underdog, I think I take Trevor Lawrence because I think he could, like you said, he could do what Purdy did last week, or what we've seen him do. He's done it, what, 3 weeks in a row now, Trevor Lawrence, or is it just been two, where he's put up
Been
30 to 40 points? Like,
2, yeah.
yeah. So honestly, either way, I don't think you're going to be too sad. Like, I don't think, unless one of them really goes crazy, I think their difference in points is going to be minimal. So I would take whatever, if you made me pick without knowing anything else, I think I'd just go Brock Purdy.
That's kind of where I'm at, and that's who I have in the lineup right now. But I mean, like you said, like it's hard to ignore Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he had 54 points 2 weeks ago, 37 points last week.
Yeah, that's I honestly, it's a kind of good problem to have. I mean, it's not because of the if the difference between them is like 5 points and you lose by 5 points, and that's the ultimate fantasy,
For real.
knife twist. But I mean, here I have a way nastier quarterback start decision for you.
Oh boy,
Since you were saying you don't want to start any Raider,
some nasty boys.
Geno Smith or the
Mhm.
grandpa.
Aaron Rodgers. Is
No,
that the
no, the
grandpa?
real grandpa, the real
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers, who I started last week, by the way. I started him over Geno, and was the difference for me making the championship in this game. It was a 2 point difference.
Okay,
Philip Rivers,
so it's Philip Rivers versus the Jags,
yeah.
and then it's
Geno
Gino.
versus
You
the
can't start Gino, man. I I feel like I'm just rolling with Philip Rivers.
the grandpa.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean
Let's stink and go.
that is the league where Jefferson and Sutton pretty much canceled each other out. And then he also had JMO play, who was really bad, and I had Bill play. So I am favored. So I'm kind of looking at, like, I was just saying to you. I'm kind of looking
Yeah,
for the safest play of the guy that can
right.
get me, the 15 to 20 points. You think that's the grandpa? That's P Rivers out here,
Dude,
Philip Rivers over
I like
Gino.
I don't want any I don't want to play any Raiders this week. Like if I can, I think that's a losing move.
Yeah, yeah, man, Jesus. Okay, yeah, I'll probably be struggling with that all the way until Sunday. I did last week, and then I ended up playing Philip Rivers. I'm literally playing Philip Rivers in two Superflex Dynasty championships this week. So, and I
Let's
am
stink
favored.
and go. Do you know
I
what
am
I'm talking
favored.
about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When they
Okay,
got him on the
okay.
mic with, like, he doesn't cuss.
I
Yeah, man.
love it.
I mean, he's got, same a number of kids as he does pass attempts, probably. I don't know. I mean, every time they show his box, it is the most full box I've ever seen. There's so many people in that box, but it's good times. But all right, and I think what we just kind of did before getting into the segment, it kind of plays right along with this segment, right? We're talking about dynasty green flags. These leagues we're talking about are dynasty leagues, and I think people make the mistake. They get into dynasty because they feel like it's a year-round thing, and it is supposed to be in the right context, in the right situation. But you need the right people, right? So I mean, I'll let you, fully
Yeah, man.
introduce.
Yeah, no, I mean, this kind of came up too because we have a league mate in one of our leagues. He was kind of bringing it up that he feels like Dynasty is an inferior format, and that's just because it's supposed to be this super active thing, and each all the managers are going to be trading, and because there's always something to play for. Like if you're not in it, you're rebuilding and you're trying to retool your team to win for the future, right? And I only know that he's in one, maybe two dynasty leagues, and it's just hard. Like if you don't get the right group of guys in the league, and one of the leagues we're in too is very inactive and almost on purpose, right? Like that league was set up to be very lazy. In fact, we call it the lazy D for the for the lazy dynasty. And the idea was we love draft season and we want more of that. And so much so that it's a best ball league, so you don't have any lineups to start. We even took out waivers. We have waiver runs 4 times a year in that league. So it's very laid back in that one. and he's in that one. So I think that one's just a bad experience for him and gives him kind of a bad taste of what Dynasty is. But we're kind of thinking about it and like what makes a Dynasty league good? Like you can be in these bad ones, and I've definitely been in them before, and I've actually had to drop out of a few of them because it's just painful. And I had good teams like when I dropped out of them. Like I'm like I hate leaving this, but I'm not having fun in this league, and it should be you should be having some fun, even if it's not the best league. Like I have some leagues that are lower priorities, but I stay in them because it's still working for me in some sorts. But we want to like identify those things that are making it a good league. So I guess here let me read this introduction here. It says today we're talking about the real secret behind every great dynasty league. It's not the rookie picks. It's not even that one manager who sends you offers at 2:11 a.m. like it's a lifestyle. It's the league, the people in it, the group chat, the running chokes, the history, the rivalries, the receipts. Because in dynasty, the teams change fast, but the relationships are what make it worth building for years. And I'm just going to stop it there, but it's really about the communities you're making in them and your league mates who make it up, who make that community. And I guess just like speaking to ToeClan and what we've become, right? We're a collection of 3 different leagues, but we have a community. Like it's really shocking to people when I tell people like, yeah, I'm in a dynasty league with 35 other people, and we're not even talking football all the time. Like we're talking house projects, we're talking real life tragedies and like and hard things that we're going through, and we're talking sports cards, we're talking memes, we're talking everything, and it's really great that we can be a part of that. And I'm very grateful that I have that in my life, and how we met, and how this relationship has grown from that. It just speaks to what a dynasty league can do. And we're in another league, actually in the Lazy D. One of the guys' moms just passed away, and the entire league was just like, yo man, like I'm sorry, like that's really rough, especially this time of year. Like what can we do for you? How can we be there? And he's like, you guys just like being here and being the distraction is more than enough for me. And it's like those types of stories is what is why I love Dynasty, and why we can make this happen. That's not happening in a redraft league. Like my redraft league chats are dead. Like they don't say anything other than like, oh, bad beat, or or like GG man. Like like we're not getting into life stuff, but it's like the Dynasty, for whatever reason, like life is just inserted into these league chats, and it happens so much because of that. So I don't know if we can do this, man, but let's try and break down like some of the green flags here that you like to see when you're coming into a league.
Yeah, I mean, I think those relationships and that kind of people being engaged, and it's easier to be engaged when it's with people that you like, or that you know a little bit more about. And it also kind of helps like getting through those rebuilds, right? Like when you're not competing, it's hard to stay motivated, right? Especially if there's a buy-in associated, you're paying money into going into a year that you're not going to win, right? So I think some of the stuff that for me is the format, right? Like you have to have the right format, right? It has to be interesting, it has to be competitive, it has to also fit the managers, right? Like if you're starting a brand new dynasty league with like your 10 buddies or just 10 people on the internet, and most of them haven't played dynasty, I think going super to the wall and like 3 flight, like 12 starting, it's going to overwhelm people, right? Like you want to kind of gradually ease into it. And I think that's a big part of it, right? Like you, on top of it being a completely different format, you don't want to also throw in like things that you've never done, like played super flex maybe, or 3 flexes, or whatever the situation might be. And on top, going further from that, it's like the league mates. I think if you really want to get a great dynasty experience, I think if you have the ability, or have at least one or other 2 people, and one of them is willing to be the commish, And then you kind of have to be, maybe not everybody has 12 random, 12 friends or 11 friends that they're going to start up with. I know that's the case for me. um, Having somebody that or you yourself being the commish, I mean, this sounds a little bit maybe harsh, but like being able to just remove the managers that are either not good because of their attitude, not good because of their activity, not good because of whatever, they're not really pulling their weight as a manager, I think is important, so you can cycle and get the right people. I mean, meeting people over the internet, random strangers, it's hard to build those connections, it's hard to make it, but I mean, at the end, everybody's there to do one thing, right? It's to play fantasy football. So you already have something in common that you can bring to the table. I think if you're really serious about trying to make a dynasty league, um, more than just like a fantasy football league where, like, like you said, like people are just like, okay, good game, all right, talk later, like, you need to also have some other form of communication outside of like a sleeper chat or outside of like the platforms chat, like a Discord. Maybe a Discord's too much, but at least like some sort of group chat, a WhatsApp, a Slack, I don't know, something I think also helps, so you could maybe talk about different things that aren't just fantasy football, because I feel like when you're in the fantasy football app, a lot of times only things people want to talk about is fantasy football, and I think it's hard to bond over that in a more like serious way, or a more like structured way, or just on a deeper level. If all you're talking about is fantasy football, like, great, that brought all of us together, but like, what else? Oh, like, we found out like 9 of us are dads, or 9 of us, are this, or the whole league is into, whatever, cooking, like all the things that you were bringing up, right? Like, not all 36 people are into it, but 15 people are into showing off what they're cooking, the steaks they're cooking. 12 people are into video games. Like, it just helps you connect with people more. And then I think the competitiveness, right? Like, you have to judge how competitive you want to
Mm.
be, and how you want to structure that, whether that's a buy-in. I think that's a great way at the beginning. But how competitive do you want to make it, right? Because I feel like that's part of a big thing that people, they either want to go like, all in, like, yeah, this needs to be hardcore, like, I'm trying to win, I'm trash talking, I'm doing the whole thing, and then like the rest of the league's like, yo, bro, like, we're chilling, like, what, so
Mm.
you need to find your right environment or create the right environment, right? Like, if you want a competitive league, don't bring people in that, are just like, hey, I'm just here for a good time, like, like, maybe that's not the right league mate. Like, you need to understand what you want and join those leagues or create those leagues, right? Like, if you want a more laid back, kind of like you're talking about lazy D, right? It's like a more laid back dynasty experience. We're kind of more hands off. It's more, chill. It's not super competitive. Like, it's still for money, but not, there's not wars going on in the chats and like trash talking really that much. Like, okay. Or if you want, to me, I would consider the main ToeClan something where it's really competitive, even though it's for no money. It can be competitive for no money. Like, if you make it that all 12 people that are in the league, right? With most dynasty leagues are going to be 12 managers. If all 12 managers think they're the best manager and they want to prove it, that can be enough to make it competitive, right? Like, if you get 12 people that are just really wanting to win, even in a dynasty league, they'll rebuild the right way. They'll have plans. They will do things. And I think you can do that without money involved, which is kind of what ToeClan does.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with all those things. So like just to recap on what you were saying, it was like the league format, finding one that fits for you. The league mates, which is probably like the biggest and the most obvious, I feel like, is it's just finding guys that you jive with, and that match your
Your energy.
level, yeah, your energy. There you go, your vibe. That's a good way to put
Yep.
it. And then the competitiveness and the activity of the league, that changes everything, especially when it comes to dynasty, right? You don't want guys that are, you know, they're checked out for most of, like, they set their lineup and like that's about it. Like, they're not even making waiver claims, they're not checking their trade offers or sending trade offers or anything. It's tough, and you got to find the right people that are on your wavelength. I'm gonna go and take it a step further too, and like I would say like a good league manager really changes a lot for what a league can be, and that's not like always the case, but when it comes to it, like, I really like having everything recorded and in writing, and having like a league bylaw as like a Google Doc or whatever. Like, that to me gives me security, not only in knowing that whatever we've agreed upon is like written down somewhere, and that stuff can't get lost in like he said she said type of thing. Like that just makes me feel a lot better about it. I don't know how it sounds like you might have something to say. How do you feel about that?
No, yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I think having something written down with rules, what is expected of people, it just helps to point like kind of what I was saying. Like if you know the commish or you are the commish, and you have something in there about activity, you just be like, hey man, like you haven't set your lineup 2 weeks in a row. I think we got to find somebody else. Or in the
Yeah.
off season, like, hey man, 3 people have told me they messaged you about trading for your pick and you haven't responded in 2 months. Like, I think we just gotta, you don't need a reason to kick somebody out of a random league as long as you're not like taking their money or scamming them. But if you have a rule set like that, it can help to cycle through and get new managers or the right managers in place if you have like a rule set.
Yeah, no, for sure. It just makes things easier. Like you have everything there. You don't gotta bother the league manager like, hey, how do we determine rookie pick order again? Or like, what's the buyouts? Like you have that doc. You can just go reference it whenever you need to. It just makes things so much smoother, so much easier. So like when I'm getting into a new league, like that's one of the very first things that I'm looking for is like, is this established? And what are the rules? Like, do I agree with these things? And then yeah, going back to like the league manager and the league mates, like it's really helpful that you can if you can get plugged into like a group and those guys are already really active and they're all starting new leagues all the time and getting plugged in with them. I got plugged in with this random group of guys this year from actually a ToeClan member from Banana Splits, or I forget, the Von Dutchman on Sleeper. Really good guy. He's a great league manager. If you want to take a template of what a league manager should be, I think he's probably right there at the top. He goes above and beyond in one of our leagues, creating like synopsises. Honestly, like I always thought he was using AI to write these things, but he says he's writing these things, and that if he's writing these things, it's wild. And he's even doing like weekly awards. Like he's got like planned out like every week. Like whoever has the best running backs this week is gonna get an award. Whoever had the best tight ends this week. Whoever had the baddest beat, like the closest margin, like whatever it may be. He has 15, 17 weeks of every single week. And he's even shelling money out of his pocket. On Thanksgiving, this dude said, here's some lines. You guys tell me which ones you want to take over under on these ones, and I'm gonna, you pick three from each one of these groups, and I'm gonna send you money. Like and I was like, dude, like I feel like I should at least be put money down on this, but he didn't allow it. So not that your league manager should be doing this. I'm just telling you what a good league manager should look like. He's also, making sure people are getting along and taking care of each other in that sense. And so getting plugged into these groups and finding similar leagues in these same finding guys that you like and then just creating more leagues with them, I feel like is a good way. And because of that, I got plugged into these other guys, and they were crazy. Every single week a new best ball dynasty league. Like it was just another one. And I'm like, hold on guys, like you guys know we got to pay for this every year, right? This isn't just a one time do. um but yeah, I think those are one of my biggest green flags is like getting a good league manager and knowing them and having that relationship already established with them. I feel good about that league going into it already.
Yeah, and I mean maybe for the rest of us, because I was a little confused about what JMac was talking about at the beginning of this. League manager means commissioner for the rest of us out here. Because maybe it's just me. I was confused. I was like the league manager, what? But yeah, the commissioner.
He's,
But
he's
yeah,
managing the league. What do
yeah.
you not understand?
But yeah, yeah, he's a great guy. I've seen some of the stuff. I'm in a league that he kind of started. He's definitely a great guy. I think the group thing is a double-edged sword because you can also get plugged into a group of that are turds and they treat you like you're the outsider. So because I've had that experience happen
Mm,
before. So it's a double-edged sword. But obviously, like if it's a good group of guys that are very
yeah.
active, then the more leagues you are with those people, like if there's 6, 7, 8, whatever, the less people you have to the less people you have to find to fill in, which I think that's kind of what ToeClan has done with some of these leagues we've spawned off of them. Is like, you know who is active, you want to take into another league, already they're a good manager, that they're plugged in, that they stay tuned. I think also one thing is making everything matter, especially in Dynasty, right? Like you
Mm.
don't want the toilet bowl, the six tanking teams to just be like, all right, like I have nothing to play for. The season's done. Like, make the consolation bracket worth something, right? With Dynasty, it doesn't just have to be um, money, right? You can add in a pick at the end of a round. I know a lot of people do that, the 213 or whatever, some compensatory pick. Make it so that managers are trying at every step.
Mm.
Make everybody involved in everything, and I think that's a great way of knowing how active the league is. Like if you're doing votes and like only half the league is voting for rule changes or for different things, or you have to like be pinging people to like please vote on this, like I think that's a clear indicator that you need to switch some things up. Like, and I think every offseason, not adding something new, but maybe touching up something like a rule change, doing something to keep the league fresh can also be a pretty good idea. You don't have to do something drastic like, go from single quarterback to super flex. But, everybody's played Dynasty. Maybe the league's going 3 years. Is it possible to add another flex? Is it possible to change the scoring? Is it possible to, something not crazy drastic that completely changes it, but is it possible to do something and just get people involved in that process, right? Like if you are the league manager, like, or the commissioner, like get people's input, right? Like what worked for them, what didn't work for them, like what do you want to see changed, what would you add that would make it more fun, what the input of the league is also important to keep it going and to keep it fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like making sure people are just keeping things fresh and also just being like nice to each other, like and just like it's okay to talk trash and like if it's all in fun and games and stuff, but like there's a difference between trash talk and insults, I feel like. And it's a fine line to walk. So to me, like that's kind of like a red flag is when like people start insulting each other and stuff kind of gets wild. You really got to watch out for something like that. But another green flag for me is league safe. Yeah. Maybe if there's money involved, make sure there's a league safe involved. I mean, that's kind of like 101. It's like it's very very standard, very typical. Unless these are like your buddies that you've known, since like grade school or whatever. And even then, like I don't know, like the only downside to league safe is that you have to use there's like a fee, but it really comes out of the winner's pocket most of the time. When they cash out, it gets deducted from their winnings, which is like they don't mind. I mean, they just want a bunch of money. Like, what's like $10 off the top of that. So yeah, that's another green flag for me. Is just again like making sure like the very nuts and bolts of like what hold the dynasty together are there. And on that same line, making sure future picks are paid for when they're traded away, right? So if like someone wants to trade away their 2027 pick, cool. You're paying in for that year because like I don't want you, especially if you're playing with strangers, right? Like you need to make sure the security of the league is withheld, and so that someone's not selling out for this season and then walking away.
Yeah, those are pretty good basics. I mean, there's different ways to do it. At startup, you can do, pay 2 years ahead, and that kind of keeps you in that situation. And then if somebody really wants to get wild and trade picks, 2 years down the road. But yeah, because I mean, orphans are one of the biggest league killers, right? If you can't find somebody to take over a team, or multiple people dip, that's part of kind of if you build a community, and that's kind of what was in we were talking about earlier. Like people will be willing to rebuild if it's fun, if the league is fun. Then they're okay, paying their 25, $50, even though they know they're not going to win, because in the future right now you're dominating over these guys who you had to get punched over and over week over week tanking, and now you're beating them up, and now you have all the rookies or the good picks or the whatever, so I think that's a big, if like the league has nothing or nothing holding people to it besides like, hey, we're just here to play for money, and it's kind of almost like a redraft sort of thought to it, that's when people will just bail. They'll see the offseason, they'll be like, oh, I traded my picks, whatever, like I'm done. And even when people have paid, like, it's still sometimes hard to fill some of these teams that completely decimated and have no picks. You have to have the right type of person to do it. But yeah, I mean, league safe is a must no matter who you're playing with. I think like you can't trust random strangers over the internet. And then, so even if people, sometimes things get wild when there's money involved. And then just one thing for me, like as soon as a red flag kind of pops up, especially when it has to do with like a league mate, you should just bounce. Like honestly, I think sometimes people stick it out because, oh, this, or I feel bad orphaning, but it's like at the end of the day, like I always think about fantasy football, even when I'm playing for money and whatever have you, it's a hobby and it's supposed to be fun. Like if you're not having fun in a league, why are you in it? The only time I stay in leagues where I'm not particularly having like a lot of fun, or there's not much going on, is if like I'm winning, and then so I'm winning money and it's just like a transactional thing. But like I don't want most of my leagues to be like that. Like, I play redraft for that, but I want most of my dynasty leagues to have some sort of, some sort of extra feeling for it or some extra fun for it than just being there to collect money or to try to win, because that gets boring. And as soon as you're not, your team's not doing well or you have to tank, that's when a lot of people, I think, bail. So
Yeah.
I think when you see those red flags, like it's okay to just be like, hey guys, it's not for me. Sorry, I'm not. I don't fit. Or you don't even have to say anything. Just be like, hey guys, I'm done. I'm leaving. Like whatever. Be cordial. Be like a normal, nice person about it. But at the end of the day, nothing says you have to stick in a league where you're not having fun or you don't enjoy the people, or like you said, there's some turd that you're playing with that makes it, unfun because they're a jerk, or they're just whatever. There's lots of reasons why another manager and you may not like get along, or maybe they're like horrible in trade negotiations, or I don't know, something. There's lots of reasons. There's nothing says that you need to stick it around in a league, right? Like I'm not for just randomly orphaning teams, but at the end of the day, it's for you. You play this game for yourself, to have fun for yourself. So it should be fun, right? Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing to keep in mind is have fun when you're playing fantasy football. Like the bad beats and the losing on a kneel down, or all that stuff is part of fantasy football no matter where you go, but like the people you're playing with should be enjoyable for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you should have that feel before you get into it. Hopefully, you're not just in like random sleeper leagues where you're using their platform to find a dynasty league. Hopefully, you have other means to do that. Whether that's like a lot of my leagues that I joined were from the ToeClan Discord. Like they're not all the greatest, but they've definitely been better than the league that I joined with my brother one time, who he found through a sleeper the platform. Like every year, there's just new managers, and the only ones who stayed were the inactive ones who just never replied to trades. And it was a 16 team league, and it was just I'm like, this league sucks, bro. Like I'm bouncing. And he's like, yeah, I think I'm leaving too. I'm like, yeah, this league sucks. Like I don't think you understand. Like yeah, like don't feel bad. Like if it's not fun, like get out. But hopefully, like you're selective in getting into these leagues, and like what you're getting into, and you're not just joining like a random blind league. Yeah, hopefully you have some plugins, and if you don't, hit us up, drop us a comment. We'll get you guys plugged into some new ones. I feel like I'm starting a new league every year when it's startup season, at least one. You got to. It's kind of the joy and the fun of it all, and I can't wait for it, man. We're almost there. It's almost startup season.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's nothing, any reason to feel bad. Like you got to have fun, and if you're not having fun, I mean, I think, to be honest, been a bit spoiled after joining ToeClan. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to find, you join a league, and even if it's with like active, it just never feels like it will reach the levels that ToeClan has kind of reached. Which I mean, that took a very special situation, very special moment, somebody pushing really hard to make that work. So it's a little hard to compare to ToeClan, but just in general, man, like people should be messaging you back for trades. People should be responding in the chat to polls. People should be paying their money without having to be tracked down. If you message, you shout somebody out on the chat, like, hey man, like it's finals week. Let's go. Let's do it, man. I hope Brock Bowers gets ruled into IR or something. I don't know, like some friendly trash talk. Like you expect them to return, something, or at least respond, acknowledge, like, I mean, I think those are the basics of what you can expect. And then like, if there's a way to build those relationships either in the general chat or like through DMs with people, like, just having conversations, then the better, right? Like the stronger the relationships between the managers, the stronger and the more fun the league is. I think it's what kind of all this kind of boils down to.
Yeah, activity and communication, I think, is like 101, and like everything else behind that is, I don't know. It's just like either like expected and standard, or it's a flavor of like what you like and what you don't like. But yeah, hopefully this was insightful for you guys, and hopefully if you have trouble finding a good dynasty league, I hope you guys find your ToeClan or someone. But yeah, I mean, let us know, like we can get you guys plugged into some good ones if you are having trouble. Dynasty for me is my favorite format. I love that it's year round, it's evergreen, there's always something going on, so I want to be able to share that with everyone else out there.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, man. Let's roll the outro. Another good one in the books. Week 17, championship week is upon us. We've already had 3 games played because of the crazy Christmas games. We got 2 more tomorrow. And then how many are on Sunday? There can't be that many on Sunday. It's like 5 or 6 games.
It'll be more of a slim pick in there on Sunday.
Yeah, speaking of slim pickings, damn it. On Thursday night, what are you doing to me? No, he did all right. But yeah, no, I mean, it's championship week, guys. It's time. It's here. Lock in those start-sit decisions and stay locked in here. We'll keep you guys going in the off season. But we love you guys.
Yep. At Future First Pod on YouTube. We're on Apple Pods. We're on Spotify. Like, subscribe. And JMac sucks.
Boo.